This section I will be covering about shell scripts. Before I talk about shell scripts, let's try to understand what is a Linux shell. So Linux shell is a command language interpreter that executes commands which it reads from a standard output or from a device or from a file. So it's basically an environment which is provided for user interaction with the system. There are some types of shells available. For example, currently I'm working in Bash, which is born again shell. There are some more shells like KSH, CSH, and I think there's one called TCSH. There's one called ZSH. If you want to see what all shells are there on your machine, you can say cat slash etc and shells. So on my machine, I have Bash, I have KSH and ZSH. So each shell has a different type of interface. I'll show example of how ZSH looks like. So you can see the interface has changed. The prompt became a percentage. If I exit, I am back to Bash. So this is the type of shells available. Now, how to use a shell? To use a shell, you just simply open a terminal on a machine, or you can change it to the raw terminal available with the Fedora desktop. So just open a terminal, and by default, you will be given access to a shell, and you can simply type commands. So cd ls. So it's all working on this current shell. Now, what is a shell script? So shell script is you know is I would say a collection of some commands uh, which we put together and execute it becomes a shell script in very simple language. And uh, mostly they're written to achieve some goals. Now, what these goals could be? These goals could be, for example, automating something to do a daily task that you do. For example, if you have a disk that you have to monitor, and the size of disk, if it goes beyond, say, usage goes beyond 90 gig, you might be looking to clean some log files. So those kind of manual jobs can be automated through shell scripts. Now, before I go for shell script, we need some kind of editor to write scripts. So I'll go very quickly with the default editor, which is VI, which comes with the Linux. There are more Emacs also there, but VI is pretty common. So I'll just go ahead and show you some very simple editor commands. You can also use a gedit and then give it any extension and just save it as a file. So let's go with the vi first. So to invoke vi, the command is vi. So vi has two modes. Okay. Right now there is no such file given. So let me give a file name. So vi my first script dot bash. Okay. So this will create a file called my first script dot bash. So when vi has two modes, one is command mode, one is editor mode. So nowadays you see, if you use a modern word editor, right? So it has some. Let me open gedit and compare. Okay. So it has two modes. You can see now these modes are typing. Okay, and then on this text we want to work. So say control. If I want to cut this line, it is control C, control X to cut, and control V to paste. So these are commands we are giving. Similarly, VI runs in command mode as well as editor mode. So to go into editor mode where I can type something, I have to first press escape and an I. So it will bring me in insert mode where I can start typing. Okay. To go back to command mode, again I have to press escape. To save this file, I have to go in first command mode, and there are a lot of options. So I'll use the simplest one. So shift and colon WQ. So W will save and Q will quit. So I can again open the file, my first shell script. and I'll show you how to save without how to close without saving. So I wrote some more line, but I want to close it without saving. So it's Q and exclamation. So again, I have to go in command mode to run this command. Okay, so I'll see that no changes have been saved. Now, if I want to search something, now this is a very bad example to search. I'll open a different file where I can. Yeah, so I have that file ABC, which I created in the last week. So let me try to uh, let me try to search something in ABC. Let me search word bank here. So it's very simple. Escape, come in the command mode, press a slash, and then type the word bank. So I can find all the entries with bank. To go to the next line, you have to press N. So it will go from top to bottom. It will search from top to bottom. If you want to search in the reverse direction, just press escape, shift and question mark and start. Now if you press N, it will go up in the file. Okay. So going to search from top to bottom, simply search and press N. To go from top to bottom, you can simply give a question mark and press enter to search the last word in the bottom to top way. Now, how to go to the last line? You have to come in the command mode and shift and G will take you to the last line. To copy a line or to copy n number of lines, the command is Y. So now I'll show you, I'll go back to the previous example, which was easy. So VIAB, I'll just create a new file, abc dot my first script. Now I want to write some names. Okay. Now I want to copy Tony. To copy Tony, I'll just bring my cursor there, press escape, go in command mode, and YY is the command to copy. And to paste it, the command is P. So it copied one line. If I want to copy three lines, it is 3YY and P. So it copied three lines. So YY is command to copy and P is the command to paste. To delete a line, the command is DD. So DD will delete one line. And if I give a number in before DD, so let's say 3DD, it deleted three lines. These are some pretty common and useful commands in VI editor. Now moving forward from here, let me tell you a few things about shell scripts. Now, how to write a shell script? So first, let me create a very simple shell script. Okay, my first script, I will say ls. Let me go in the insert mode first. Insert mode by pressing I. It is case sensitive. Okay, so capital I and I lowercase have different meanings. So please be very sure and careful. Um, Let me write my very first shell script. Okay, and let me say echo. Echo is a command. Hello shell and save it. So whenever I save this file, by default, Linux has a property that the file will not be executable. Linux will not never create an executable file by default. So we are supposed to give, sorry, ls hyphen, we are supposed to give permissions. Right now we can see the permissions here, rw, which is read write read write read write. So to give executable, simple way is chmod. I'll give executable to all a plus x. X is executable my file. Okay. Now if I see, I can see the color has changed for the file and it has a my first script you can now say that it has a permission of X. To run the shell script, I can simply say dot slash my first script. It just said hello. So important thing to note here was permission. Now, and also I have shown you how to execute. So there are different ways to execute. You can say bash my script, or you can say dot slash my first script, or you can give a full path. So I am in home, so slash home Vadwani my first script bash. So these are some ways how to execute your shell script. You can also use sh my first script. Just copy paste. These are some ways to run the script. Now let's go one level down. Let's go to another level in shell scripts. Now shell basically help us to program things. Okay, so I'll just open up a structure. I'll just try to explain components of a script. Okay, now shell script has some components that we should be knowing. So number one is variables. So um, whenever we try to use shell or a shell script, we should be aware about variables. Now there are two types of variables. One is your system variables, or sometimes we call them, default shell variables. Okay. Now these default shell variables are, some of them we know like home. So if you say sorry, echo shift dollar home, it will give you the value of your home variable. The easiest way to see all the variables is run command called env. If you run env, it will give you a list of all the variables, all the system variables. And so these are some default system variables. We should never try to use these variables, okay, as user defined variables. So user defined variables are second type of variables that we use in our shell scripts. For example, username is a system variable which is by default available. Echo dollar username. So I should not try to use username in my shell script when I create. So we have two types of variables. Number one is system, and second type is user defined. So these two variables are always there in any shell scripting. Um, Now system variables are by default available. We can see the list, but I'll show you how can we define our own variables. So let me just open up my script, my first shell script, and create a variable. This variable is say name equal to say Tony. This is how I define a variable. Now, this is a variable with a text type variable. I can also define a number type variable. Age 36. And how to use these variables? Simply, we have to append a dollar sign before the variable name. So if I have to get the value echo, my name is dollar name and my age is dollar age, and save this file by coming in command mode escape colon wq and then sh. So my first, so it picked up value from the variables. There are some rules of system. There are some rules for naming these variables. The first rule is that please do not use, when you are using user defined variables, please do not use system variables. Okay. Secondly, we use logical names, and they could be alphanumeric, but it should not start with a number. Okay. For example, it could be name, but name, there could be like name variable called name one, and there could be variable name two. That could be first name and second name or something. Tony, say. Now, this is fine, but please don't try to define a variable like this, okay, or a variable like uh, special characters. Avoid special characters. Percentage dollar. So don't try to create variables with this kind of names. Okay, so bad examples are, okay, dollar, percentage, question mark, star, ampersand. These are bad examples for declaring variables. You can use alphanumeric. It could be capital and small, but you have to also understand that name one and name one are not the same variables. Okay, because of case. So it is case sensitive. So name one here is different than name one here. Okay, you can simply see this. Yes. So you can see, oh, something is missing. Okay, I've not used right variable name here. So variable names are case sensitive. Now moving forward, let me just take a stop the recording here and start the next video.